Hey everybody. Um, New channel, new day, new me, new everything. Um, wow, I love it here. Um, it's about, well, the sun hasn't fully come up yet, but and this is just a long hill near the Escalante staircase, if you've ever heard of that. Just out in the desert, this big sand hill. Going down those things is really fun. You just gotta lean back and keep your legs moving. Otherwise, your butt will get full of stickers. Boy, it's beautiful here. It's so quiet. Goodness, it's quiet. If an airplane goes overhead, my dog starts barking like crazy. She thinks they're puppy stealers because I showed her how the hawks were scoping out her puppies one time, and she went off on those hawks. But then, you know what was really cool is the crows were there, and they were needling the hawks, and it kept them too busy to scoop down and get a puppy before I realized what was going on. I thought that was awesome. It's amazing how sometimes nature is actually protecting us and we don't even realize it. Anyway, there's a bunch of things I need to talk about, and I've done it on my other channels, but you know, narcissistic abuse causes brain damage, and it truly does because of the chemical dumps to your brain. Cortisol being dumped massive amounts when you're in the fight or flight is detrimental, but it's all subject to healing. And if you get rid of those chemical dumps and you start the healing process, and you bring God or some spiritual element into it, it can really speed up the process even more. And you'll find that the ones who caused the damage, they don't like it when you cut them off. I'm talking about narcissists. And they may be the hot topic, or, you know, all the rage right now, or maybe people are just assigning narcissism to any person with the tendencies, but I'm telling you, it's more prevalent than you realize. That's for sure. Well, it was in my life. I wasn't about to assign narcissist to people who were clearly narcissistic, NPD all the way, you know? It was hard for me to do that to family. But boy, when you see how many were in my family, oh my, it was a little nuts. It was a way nuts. And my dog's at the end down there. You can't really see her, even though I just 2 times did. Anyway, I love this walk. This hill is really fun going back up. It's a long, really steep graded, and the road's over here. And that goes right into the road I'm living on. But, and it comes all the way down. And then this is where we used to drive through the water. The water's all dried up right now. But right there is where the road goes through the water without the water. Anyway, narcissism. Boy, what a way to wake someone up, huh? When you find out Every person in your life is a narcissist. And and you've got to separate yourself from them. Otherwise, the brain fade and fog and disillusionment and everything else just persists and gets worse. Oh boy, that's what happened to me. I didn't want to believe it. You know, I just didn't want to believe it. When I came to the conclusion that it was true, the only thing I could do at that point was to forgive them, because then that kind of released me from the pain of it, I think. Yeah. Yep. It released me. Ooh. Get this little overhang right here. Well, there's no pack rat living in it. But something beds down there at night. Anyway, my dog's way down there. Well, there's a little bit of water you have to drive through. Well, you don't have to drive through. You can go right around it. Anyway, forgiveness is key. I have found. Look, there's a Z on the ground. Where is it? There it is. Clearly a Z. Wow, it's made out of tile. Wow. Anyway, I'm just hiking down to one of my favorite camping sites down here. Funny, I go camping someplace so close to where I live, but you know, sometimes you just gotta be out, and it's a white sandy beach, and guess what? No stickers. I could walk around barefoot all day. That's why I like it so much. It's great for grounding. You know, I heard on the earthing movie, and I'm going to try this as soon as I get the tape. You take the duct tape that is actually made of silver. Well, it's not made of silver, but probably some kind of tin or whatever. You put that across your bed, hook it to a grounding wire, and put the wire out your window into something metal, pound it into the ground, and you can ground yourself when you sleep. That I am going to try. That sounds so interesting, but I've heard that it has helped so many people, especially if you have inflammation. That's, you know, I don't have a lot of inflammation. Ooh, I love this place. Let's see. I'm trying to, oops, get more of a close-up of just how beautiful it is here. That's where the water usually runs, right through there. My campsite's way out that way. There's a big cave here too. Maybe I'll go. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, hey. It is. Where is it? There it is. Can you see that black hole? That's where the cave is. I think I'll walk over there and get you guys a picture of it. It's pretty awesome. There's my dog. Down there getting a drink. We're smelling something. She likes to smell things. Oh, she's always smelling. I have a daughter who does the same thing. Oh, boy. There we go. Anyway. Ooh, I really want to go the other way, but I'm going to go this way. We'll go check out the cave. You guys will like it. It's really cool. That's not where I camp. Where I camp's not too far from it when I camp here. But, okay. So, most likely in this lifetime, there's going to be something that hooks you. I like using the hook analogy. It's when something that does not make any sense whatsoever to you at all leaves you with a cognitive dissonance where things just do not align. They do not match up. You cannot figure it out. Although you keep trying, you really actually inside know that, okay, so say in the case of having a narcissistic parent, you realize what narcissism is, what tactics narcissists use, and you start realizing that people have been using these tactics. And if you look at the 50 laws, what's his name? Robert, what is his name? Anyway, they're just evil tactics. Triangulation, love bombing, hoovering, just total manipulation. And when you realize that your own family have been using these tactics like reactive abuse against you your whole life, and you always thought that they loved you, but you're finding out that narcissists are incapable of love, that creates a cognitive dissonance. And until you admit the truth to yourself, you're pretty well going down a rabbit hole where, unless you admit the truth that they never loved you, that life is not what it seemed to be, and let's go up this way, pup, and then down the other side. Good girl. Good girl. Anyway, life isn't what it seemed to be. In fact, it's completely the opposite. Where everyone was telling you you were crazy, where they were telling you you should go see a shrink, when they were telling you all these things, and you were believing them, and you went to see a shrink, and of course the shrink's going to agree, yeah, you got problems. They're going to misdiagnose you and everything else if you're anything like me. You know, I was bipolar, manic depressive, clinically depressed, you know, all these things. And then something comes along and starts telling you you're not crazy, they are. Boy, the cognitive dissonance that you go through is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And until you can admit to yourself that, hey, guess what? They probably are crazy, and I probably am sane. I don't know. It doesn't hardly seem like that can be the case. Hold on, pup. I'll decide which way we go. Straight ahead, you're right. That's one thing about the desert. You know, it looks like it's just over there. But then you have to go down a hill and up another hill. And down a hill and up another hill. And it turns out being a whole lot further than you thought it was going to be in the beginning. And then sometimes you run across these washes that are really deep, and you can't get there from here type thing. It's kind of cool, actually, being able to get from point A to point B and to see. I have a third house stellium that consists of 4 planets and my south node. It's in Aquarius, starting with Saturn at 0 degrees and I think 41 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, directly opposite my Uranus at 001 of Virgo. I'll tell you what, that right there, when COVID hit. Oh boy. Oh boy. It hit at 0 degrees of Aquarius right on top of my Saturn. And I have Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in Aquarius with other planets, Mercury and the moon, and my south node. It's crazy stuff. Well, you were right. We should have went the other way, pup. She's always right. I don't mind giving her the kudos for it. She's a good girl. She's most definitely a guide. When I start getting pissy, which happened a lot, going through all that, a lot. She would stop me. She would whine at me, and oh boy, she knows I cannot take whining. My guides showed me why I can't take whining. I thought it was heinous because turns out I was left crying a lot as a child. So when I hear a child crying, it grates my nerves. Now this is what I'm talking about. That's one of the symptoms, okay? Hearing a baby cry. I had to wake up before my kids woke up and have the bottle ready by the time they woke up, so I didn't have to hear them cry. You know, that right there tells me that that needs to be looked at. That really needs to be looked at. That needs to be healed. That's a wound. That's a trigger that needs attention. And this is how we heal ourselves. We don't, well, I did not take medications. I got off my medications about 5 years before I started to awaken, thankfully, because those medications I should have never been on. You know, I wasn't the crazy one. My family were the crazy ones. I mean, it seems hard to imagine after, 60 years being told you're crazy, finding out that you're not the crazy one, they are. I mean, how weird is that, right? Cognitive dissonance. I'm telling you, it took me 5.5 years so far to finally believe, and I had to really test this. I had to drive to Ohio twice. Believe me, I didn't want to go. I was an unwilling participant, and that's why it took so long. Through every bit of this, I was so unwilling. Wow, we came from way back there. I was so unwilling. But it is what it is. I've found that to be true. And no matter how much you want it to be some other way, you just can't quite get the pieces to fit. Sooner or later, you come to the conclusion that what you're being shown, and there's another part. It's like, okay, if I'm hearing my guides and angels or God or whatever speaking to me, then are you sure I'm not the crazy one, right? If it's just my intuition, still, it seems a little far-fetched to believe that I'm not the crazy one. Don't you think? I mean, that would stand to reason. However, if you're being guided to see the truth in all things, and believe me, the more you ask questions, the more you get answers. But you have to be able to handle the answers. They're not going to give them to you if you can't handle it. That's for sure. In these trees over here. Oh, no, don't fall. Oh, sorry, guys. Shoot. Oh, no. Having to drop all my stuff. Okay, sorry. Anyway, if you're being shown that you're not if you pick up your phone and every time you look at your feed and it says, you're not crazy, they are. If that's the message you keep getting over and over and over, then believe it. Because it's just going to keep showing up until you do. That's what I have found. It's just going to keep showing up until you believe it. I love this place. This is where you can drive up from the water. That's usually right down there. Anyway, I just want you to know you're not alone. There's a lot of us out here going through it. There'll be a lot more people coming through it also. And what we need to do is try to get our mind wrapped around it. Realize that we're not the crazy ones they are. And then get on board with it and start helping other people who are going through the same thing. Because I've seen a lot of people die. I have. 5.5 years. I've seen 3 people not make it through this awakening. One was murdered. One died of cancer, and she had so many narcissists in her life. They were feeding off of her for so long. And escapism was a big part of her life. Please don't take that route. I tried that too, and that did not work for me. You can manifest drugs if that's what you want. But I hope that you choose something different. Because manifesting love or peace is so much better than manifesting drugs. Because you're going to get what you want, regardless of what you want. You're going to get it. Just make sure that it's what you want. Because sometimes the pain of getting what you want hurts worse than anything. Take it from someone who's manifested snakes in their tent, a sidewinder, and 2 king snakes. Okay? What you think about, you bring about. And that's all there is to it. This place is crazy. I do believe it's a simulation of some kind, because I would go down to the water every day. I would walk down to this stream coming down out of Big Bear in California. And it was beautiful. And I did it every day for 3 months. And then I commented that there were no fish. And the next day there were fish, there were frogs, there were all kinds of things. So I mean, come on. What's that right there, right? I don't know. I'm just sharing my truth with you in hopes that you coming to your truth will be easier. And if you understand that, you're going through it. I'm so sorry to laugh because I know it hurts like a bitch. But just know that I love you, and I'm going to make another video real soon. See you guys.